Welcome to Can Be Heroes Conversations, presented by Ludlow Community Television. Here's your host, Kathy Picard.
Welcome back to Can Be Heroes Conversations. I have a very special guest today. Her name is Gayle Suzanne. Gayle is very special. She comes from all the way from Charlemont, so it's quite a long haul for her, but she made her way here today, so I am proud to say that I have her as my guest today on the show. So welcome, Gayle, to my show.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So Gayle is actually a life coach, author, and a speaker. And she's been doing that for how many years?
About 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
So she's made a lot of progress, and she's really accomplished many, many things. And the way that Gayle and I met is on social media. We just had met this past November through your cousin, Lorraine, who lives in Ludlow,
Hi,
which
Lorraine.
is where I do. So hello to Lorraine, and thank you for the connection. Social media is so important, connecting people, and wouldn't you say, Gayle, that reaching out to everybody, networking is very important?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And what you find is when you're on Facebook or Twitter, people comment on posts that you write from New Zealand or from Australia. We're all the same, and it's kind of neat that we have that communication between all of us that we can share.
We all have that little bit of a niche, but once you connect, you find out that it just goes to wherever it can lead to. So it's huge. So you, let's start off with you being an author. So you actually wrote this book. It's In the Little Things by Gayle Suzanne. And I want to start off, Gayle, the picture. The picture is what caught my eye. I mean, the title as well. But in the picture, I mean, it's this young girl who I just found out is you when you were a young girl. And tell me a little bit about this picture.
Well, it's very interesting because my mother painted that picture in the 70s, and I was probably about 8 years old, and that is a picture of me. But what I found out about it was that my mother and I had a tumultuous relationship. She was an alcoholic, and it was a difficult time growing up with her. Yet she had this picture, and she painted it. It was in our living room for years and years and years. And what I didn't know, and I found out after I wrote the book, was a woman in New York sent me an email saying, I have that exact same picture in my cellar, because there's an old picture. She said, but the face is different. It's another girl on top. So my mother took the bottom portion of wherever she took that part and added my face to it. And I found this out after she passed away, so it was kind of a nice, I don't know, just a nice thing to know that she
nice memory.
Took the picture of me. And the sunflower and the mud, to me, signifies the outside may not be perfect, but giving the flower and the look on her face is like her heart is perfect.
Yeah, smiling. And a lot of kids, that's what they do, is they'll come in through the door. Of course, most likely they're going to get yelled at because they're coming in and they got the muddy feet. Right. But no, it says a lot. It says a lot. And you know, you have a smile, which like you have today, so I can definitely see the resemblance. So your book came out on November 2013.
Yes.
Was when it was released on Amazon. How did it feel to actually, we'll go into a little bit about the book, but how did it feel to write, because this is your first book. Yeah. So what did it feel like to write it?
It was cathartic, number one, but to actually get it done and see the book in my hand was surreal. It was probably one of the proudest moments in my life when the book came through and in the packaging. I was like, oh my God, I actually did this, because I went through a lot of doubts and fears and so many things about publishing a book that really, it bears my soul and my heart, soul, everything. There isn't much left out of it.
But you can do it. Yeah. You can do it. Was there anybody that influenced you to write this book?
Oh, so many people. Yeah. So many. My family, everybody wanted me to write it. And I wanted to write it too, but there was that fear, like when I was about 90% done, and everything was like going really well, I had this kind of like place where I was stuck. So I was like, oh my God, I'm raw and exposed and everything's out there. But my motive was to help help other people. And if they could get something out of the book that could help them move forward and just be happier, then it was all worth it for me. And that kind of pushed me through.
And that's what you have to do. You have to put yourself out there to making this book. How long did it take you to write your book?
3 years.
Which is common. That is common. Yeah. Any plans on writing another book?
Yeah, the next one's coming out this spring.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to share the name, or is it too
No,
too
it's
soon?
called Stepping Out in Love, and it's about going through a breakup, being single, taking care of yourself after the breakup, when, learning things about yourself, and then merging a step family.
Wow. Cool.
So all based on my life.
And that's coming out when?
Probably in April or May, I think it should be. We're just cleaning it up now. And
Summertime reading.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Take that book to the beach and read away. So let's backtrack a little bit and let's talk about what your book is about. I know that in your book there's 50 short stories. How people get through life's obstacles is what I read. But tell us a little bit more about what your book is about. And again, the book is It's in the Little Things by Gayle Suzanne.
The book is about, I think what inspired me to write the book was that I had a rough childhood, and I had a lot of hurtful things happen. Bullying, sexual abuse, a painful divorce, alcoholic parent. And through my life, at the beginning of my life, it was really, really rough, and I had no self-esteem, no self-worth at all. And once I had taken time for myself after my divorce, I learned so much. And my life really turned around for in many different ways. So when after my mother passed away very suddenly, I thought, wow, life goes by like that, and I want to leave a mark, and I want to really, honestly, for me, use everything I have that God gave me, any talents or whatever, and leave it behind, and also be a role model for my daughter. So the book basically is about life, just the normal, practical, everyday things that we go through in life, but how I felt, the feelings, the humor, the ups and the downs. Just pretty much everything. We go through sicknesses, we go through raising children, going through breakups, friendships, you name it. It's the gamut.
Yeah, that's true. And how many people live a normal life?
No.
I mean, you may hear some people say, well, yeah, my life is normal. I don't need to read about somebody else's, but the odds are there's no normal lives out there. So you are truly helping people, and is it by chapter, or is it by, like you mentioned, bullying? So is there certain sections about bullying, or you just follow through with bullying as well as the other things that you experienced?
I think it's more broken down into, the rough part of my life, so little chapters on different things, and then how I was aware of how I could change my life, and then the result of all the changes that were made. So there's like little nuggets of wisdom sprinkled throughout the book, just kind of. But it's my sense of humor is goofy, so there's a lot of parts that are, I've always tried to make something difficult, turn it into something
positive and
positive
a little
or
funny, a little humor, so it's not such a dark book.
Right.
What age would you say that this book would be for? What
I think anyone over 11.
Yeah.
I think students, high school students, definitely men and women. It's for anybody, really.
Great. No, I think that's good. So you work with a lot of female clients, and what's the thing that they struggle the most with?
My female clients, they come from all over, all different backgrounds, all different jobs. I've had vice presidents and just management people just trying to get by. And the biggest thing that I see is that they don't feel worthy. There's that self-worth that's way, way, way down deep. Yeah. That if they're in business, that they're a fraud, like how could anybody hire them? Or that they really just don't feel good enough to have good things happen to them. Yeah. And that's my coaching niche. That is the women I want to help. Yeah. Because they are beautiful, they're wonderful, they're amazing, and yet they have that feeling that I have to do more in order to be accepted.
Yeah.
They have to be more. So
be more for themselves and be more for other people. Their self-esteem is so low, and so that's mostly what the women that come to, they feel as though they don't deserve. Or any other struggles that you find that are really out there, that's traumatic, that's really a great deal. Any other struggles that you can mention?
Well, divorce is a huge one. Being on their own, not thinking that they can do it, not feeling that they're a whole person on their own, which they are. And I had felt that, and then really worked toward being whole. And it's a hard thing. And it's what amazes me with some of the clients they are probably some of the most amazing, wonderful people that I've ever met in my life. Just kind, giving, gracious, and yet they're so hard on themselves.
Yeah.
And they don't spend time for themselves. They don't do things to fuel themselves.
Yep.
It's everything goes out to everybody else, which when you're a mom and all that, you understand that, or anybody, it's our nurturing nature.
Yeah.
But they have to take time for themselves.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
that's always the bottom of the list.
Yeah, they say they don't have time,
Yeah.
but even if it's 5-10 minutes a day, just taking that,
Right.
go for a walk, do something for yourself, but they just don't.
Yeah.
So one of your presentations is Change Moves Us Forward. What types of changes do you when you talk about that during your presentation, what type of changes that you talk about to bring people forward?
The biggest change, I think, is getting out of the box, because so many people do the same thing day after day after day after day, and they have these talents and these gifts that aren't being utilized. And it's like kind of every day you wake up, you brush your teeth, you watch TV, you go to work, whatever, and it's the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And I really encourage people, because there's a whole big world out there, to just get out, just do a little thing every day to feed their passion, or to just make them feel better, or help someone else.
Yeah.
Because so many people have so many gifts to offer other people in the world. And, sometimes they just don't step out of the box for fear. For fear is one of the things, for the unknown. Even changing jobs or something. If you're miserable,
get out, move on, find something that's going to make you happy, because we're not here forever.
Exactly.
So, and as you mentioned, life is too short. The passing of your mom, and, it happens so quickly that you don't want to go back and should I, could have, would I have, just do it. You know, and if it's wrong, you'll know, and then change again. Keep on changing until you find something that's good for yourself. So what are some of the ways that you can help them with self-talk?
Oh, self-talk
Being a
is a big one. That's a big one. And self-talk is something that we're just not conscious of. I mean, we just do it, if you mess up something, oh, I'm so stupid, oh, I'm an idiot, or, just things that just come naturally to us. And I really believe that's the first start that's the first place to start when you're trying to improve your self-esteem. Just be aware and recognize how you talk to yourself. If you make a mistake, instead of saying, oh, I'm an idiot, I'm a jerk, just say, okay, I made a mistake, and move on. And we are so hard on ourselves. And one of the big things I have in the book, and so many people have commented, it's a tiny little chapter, but it's on the inevitable but. And when people say, if I compliment you, and I say, oh, I love your sweater, some people would say thank you, but oh, this thing is so old, or oh, I got it in a clearance bin. Instead of just saying thank you, smile and receive it.
But they don't, right? They have to find something negative about it, and that's why you have to really be positive, and give compliments. I mean, how many people actually take the time to give a compliment? Or buy somebody a cup of coffee. You're in Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. Pay it forward. Buy that person a cup of coffee. It makes you feel good. I know I've done it, but it makes you feel good. Of course, you want somebody to buy you a cup of coffee too, right?
Yes.
But paying it forward, and as you mentioned, I find too, like telling people, looking in the mirror and doing that self-talk. Talk to yourself while you're looking in the mirror and see, hear and see what you're saying. Take a picture of yourself and it's like, are you really that person? Do you really like never smile?
Yeah. I had one client who was younger, probably in his 20s, and he really had a lot of negativity. And I told him, I'm like, I want you to write 50 to 75 words on a paper that describes you that are positive. And it can be, your personality or who you are inside, anything. 50 to 75 words, what are you, crazy? I'm like, no. And, we started with like 4. I'm like, no, keep on going.
Yeah.
And I said, I can throw in these are some of the things, that you're conscientious, you're kind, you're wonderful with animals, you're like all these things. And it took him a while, but he came up, and then I pushed him to 100. Wow. And he came up with 100 words that described who he was in a positive way. And it was really life-changing for him.
Yeah.
Because he looked at it and he's like, wow, yeah, I am all these good things.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And do you have him like reread everything over? Yes. And so now have him do another 100?
No.
That took long enough.
I think that was tough enough for him.
Yeah.
But I think people don't realize how good they are and what their innate goodness is. Yeah. And to focus on those words rather than I can't do this, I can't do that because I'm not good enough, because I'm, not good at English or math or whatever it is.
Yeah. But everybody's not good at some things, but they're good at other things.
Absolutely.
But they just have to find their niche. They have to find what they're good at and then want to do something, or as you say, change their life.
Yeah.
You can do it, and you have to be happy. Yeah. It'll make you live longer.
Yeah.
When
it'll make you
you're
lighter too.
Yeah.
Your whole being.
Yeah.
And another one of the things that I talk about a lot is forgiveness, and especially during the holidays. I had one woman who hadn't spoken with her brother for 15 years, and I brought him up to her, and she started crying, and she's like, I haven't talked to him for 15 years. And I said, well, what did you fight about? And she's like, I can't remember. Oh. And to me, that broke my heart, because she was hurting so much, and I'm sure he was hurting too, and nobody wanted to make the first move. So I suggested to her, why don't you just write him a little Christmas card or something, and this was last year, and just to open up the doors. Just say, thinking about you. Mm-hmm. And she wrote him the letter, and he called her immediately, and they've been in touch for this past year.
Wow, what a story.
It's just that little olive branch and that's kind of like change moving us forward, because I'm sure that had a hold on her heart and on his, and now they reconciled. And there's so many people out there that I'm not talking to this one, I'm not talking to that one.
And they don't even know why sometimes. Yeah. But to make that move, to be the stronger one and make that phone call, or like you said, write that letter. Yeah. That's very therapeutic to write that letter too. So talk about the beauty within and how special women are. Where do we even start, right?
Yeah, because, and women and men. I think because my focus is primarily on women, just that they accept who they are, warts and all. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if what they have on the outside, it's what's in the inside. Yeah. If they're a caring person, if they're a kind person, but so often we look at the outside and we focus on that. I'm wearing my little swan here, and when I was a young girl, I always thought that I was the ugly duckling, and I feel like I've grown up into a swan, and maybe not physically, but in my head and in my heart. Yep. That I feel, and I think every woman is a swan. Yeah. This is such an important symbol to me. My husband just got me that for my birthday, and I'm like,
it's beautiful.
But it's a symbol that we all can be beautiful, but we don't have to be perfect on the outside. Whether we have frizzy hair or curly hair or a little button nose or not, whatever. Yep. There was a lot of things with me that I had to come to terms with. That this is who I am, and I need to accept myself as
first,
I am. Yeah.
Before others will accept you.
Yeah. Warts and all, imperfections at all, because everybody's has imperfections.
Yeah. And being different is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
but
not.
it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but it's ironic that you mentioned, you know, the outside and the inside. But there is a quote that I know I saw it on your social media, and I just wanted to read it. People are not beautiful for the way they look, walk, or talk. They are beautiful for the way they love, care, and share. And I thought that, I mean, how ironic that you were talking about it, and then I saw that quote, and I said, perfect time to share that. So, Gayle, during the holiday seasons, you know, a lot of people have really hard times, but a lot of people do have hard times during the holiday season as well. And do you have any thing that you might be able to share with our audience on self-help to help them get through the holidays?
Yeah, a lot of time it's loneliness, I think, and people are on their own. So I guess it's twofold. If you have a family and if you have people and you know somebody that's alone, you know, invite them for Christmas Eve. You know, get them a card with a $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift card in it or something. You know, just reach out, step out of your little bubble and reach out to those that, you know, might be hurting, that you know at work or wherever. And if you're the person that's on your own, you might want to reach out to somebody else who's on their own or who else may be lonely during the holidays. And I had experienced this myself when I was going through a divorce. The first year I was alone Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and it was miserable. And I'm like, I have to do something different. So the next year, I bought myself a couple little presents. It's exactly what I wanted. Put them under the tree. I reached out to someone else who was alone, and we didn't get together actually, but I felt good. She felt good that, you know, I reached out to her, and I took care of myself. I made Coco, watched a movie, and it was such a difference from the year before because I had reached out to someone. To
someone else. And there's so much you can do, like you said, reaching out to other people, but going to nursing homes or going to kids programs and just volunteering your time, you know, going to a library, reading a book. There's so much that you can do. Volunteering is awesome. I know you do a lot of it yourself, going out to different various places, and it makes a difference. So your book can be found where?
On Amazon. It's in the little things on Amazon. It can be also found on my website, which is www.gaylesuzanne.com with a Y, Gayle. And that's where and it's on Kindle also.
Great. And we look forward to your new book coming out.
Yay.
And so again, we are speaking with Gayle Suzanne, and it's in The Little Things, her book that she published, and it came out in 2013. Great read, inspirational book, a self-help book that I think that people would really enjoy. And it's got, as Gayle mentioned, it does have some humor in it, so it's a great book to read. So Gayle, I want to thank you for coming on to my show. I want to thank our viewers today, and also I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And stay tuned for 2018. If you want to be on the show, reach out to me. You can reach me by email, phone number, you know, give me a call, and maybe you can be the next guest on my show, Can Be Heroes Conversations. Thank you.